All right, heartburn sufferers. The question really at the core of your issue is, do you have too much acid, which is what most doctors have told you up to this point, or is it that you have too little acid? And the importance of that distinction oftentimes decides whether you suffer for the rest of your life or you actually fix the problem. All right, so this video today, glad you're in here. We're going to be talking about this because this is really important to understand. The doctors up to this point, the commercials you've been watching, the radio and the ads you hear online, all of the things that you hear is that you've got too much stomach acid, which is why you have heartburn, acid reflux, nausea, the symptoms that you have come to realize you need some sort of help or aid for. For most of you, that has been using some sort of antacid over the counter, whether it's Zantac or if it's a Rolaids or Tums. Basically, you think that you have too much acid here, you have to reduce your acids, push them down. I'm here to tell you that 9 times out of 10, that is incorrect. For the occasional 10% of you, yeah, you're making too much acids. You should change your diet, you should change your stress levels, you should drink more water, you should do all the things I've talked about on previous videos to reduce your stomach acids. But if you have heartburn, very likely, very likely, this is your problem. You have too little acids. Okay? Not enough. So when you eat, your food does not get processed quickly because your stomach doesn't produce enough acids. Okay? Your stomach is sitting there. It's not doing its job. It has gotten either lazy or infected, or maybe you're just getting older and your stomach is not working as well as it once did. The problem is not too little acid or too much acids. The problem is too few acids. So your food sits here. Your food is supposed to be processed fairly quickly. And within, 10 minutes to 30 minutes, you've got a good amount of digestion going on and your stomach is ready to move it down into the small intestine. Remember, even in your mouth, you are starting to digest food. What happens when you eat some food and you start to chew it? And you let it sit in there for about a minute or two while you're chewing. If you spit it back out and look at it, it doesn't look like it did a minute or two ago. It's not just broken up peas or chopped up carrots. It's actually starting to get like a paste, like a kind of a mush look to it. That's because your salivary enzymes in your mouth are already starting to digest it, right? And that's just a little bit of digestion. Your stomach, once it gets down in here, man, it's going. And it's really starting to process things. Except if you have too little acids produced. Then your food just sits there. Just a wad of mud sitting right there in your stomach, not moving. Your stomach can't actually digest it. What happens next? You're going to start to get putrefaction. What happens if you leave food in your mouth overnight? You don't brush your teeth, right? Food sits in there. What happens when you finally get it out of there? You pick it, you floss it, you get that gross smell. The food that's been sitting there rotting, right? Food will sit and putrefy. It will rot in your stomach. And what does that produce? Gas. What does that produce? Irritation to the stomach lining, and that gas builds up and pushes up into the lower esophageal sphincter. There's a little gap, a little valve that allows food to go down into the stomach and then it closes back up. But now we've got pressure from this rotting food in your stomach pushing up against this valve. And eventually that valve starts to give way and that gas starts to seep through. And now you start to get build up pressure, nausea, bloating, belching with this gas pushing up. You're not digesting your food. You are rotting your food and it is creating heartburn, okay? Eventually, when that gets bad enough, day after day, week after week, you start to get actually some acids. There's a little bit of acids. Your stomach, no matter what, is always somewhat acidic. It just doesn't get acidic enough to digest your food. So those acids eventually starts to make their way up with that gas. And now you get acids pushing up into the lower esophagus. Acid reflux. okay? The problem is not too much acid. So your doctor has helped you, right, by giving you what's called a PPI. We've moved on from the over-the-counter meds, and we've moved into the realm of prescription medications, things like omeprazole or pantoprazole. You're taking Nexium, and you're taking these things to help further reduce your acids. So now your food is further rotting. It's further sitting there when you eat. The help or the aid, the Band-Aid I should say, with the PPI is now when that gas pushes up in that valve and that valve opens up, you don't have the acids to push through there. So you might get some belching, you might get some burping, but you're not going to get the burning. You're not going to get the symptoms because your stomach can't make any acids. You've completely reduced them. And that is how you help reduce those symptoms in a Band-Aid format, which is why if you've tried to come off of a PPI that you've been on for a while, you can't. You can't do it. Maybe you can do it for a day or two and you're right back on it because the burn is back. Have to fix that issue not from an acid too high perspective. It's from a acid too low perspective, okay? One of the other reasons I mentioned a second ago, infection can cause your stomach not to produce enough acids. The PPI reduces those acids. The bacteria that lives in the stomach, they want the acids. They love the acids. That's where they thrive. That's why they're living in your stomach. And that's for another whole video. It's this thing called H. pylori. But just be aware that when you take the PPI, that H. pylori doesn't love it. It retreats into the stomach wall. So you also get some benefit, but it's only temporary. That H. pylori doesn't go anywhere. It could be with you for decades. We have patients who come to see us. They have had H. pylori very likely for decades that they've been on a PPI. It's never been fixed. The problem continues day after day. Take that PPI or you get the heartburn. We got to fix this problem, okay? So whether it's an infection or we actually need you to stop taking the antacids, you need to fix your diet, but you also need to take some digestive aids, whether it is stomach acid in the form of betaine hydrochloride, or you take some digestive enzymes, or a combination therein. That's what we help you determine. Through testing and through the approach we take as functional medicine doctors here in this office, we help you figure out if you have too little acids. And very likely you do. And if you do, we're going to fix it, all right? So this is an opportunity for you. It's your lucky day. With this video, you're going to see at the bottom here, get set up with a phone call with us. It's a discovery call, all right? And what this call does, it helps us determine if you're a good fit for what we do here in our office. We're located in the southeastern part of the country. So you might think, well, I don't know where this doctor is located. I don't think I'll be able to see him because I live in Kansas or wherever. No problem. We see patients from all over the country. We can mail you test kits if we need to. We can do everything virtual. Telehealth is how we do that for patients. We do it for all areas of the country, so don't worry about that. Your job is to get signed up for that free discovery call. Yes, I said free. 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. Gives you an opportunity to ask us questions about how things work in our office. And like I said, we determine if you're a good fit. This way, at that free call, we can start to say, okay, let's move forward. And this might finally be your opportunity to fix this problem where you have not known that it's an acid problem being too low. Let's find that out. Let's finally get to potentially the root cause of your heartburn and finally knock it out. Take advantage today. In the description to this video, you can also find a link with more information on how to set up that discovery call. Do it today.